what's up, sales pros? What y'all doing? You know what I'm doing? I'm hanging out with the money man. This, sometimes I was just saying this before we went live on the camera here. Sometimes I'm sitting in a situation like this, and the person next to me is selling something that not everybody needs. They're selling a financial plan, or they're selling, tax services, or they're selling virtual assistants or something that not everybody needs. Great services that a lot of people need, but not everybody needs. But today, this sponsor and personal friend and Apex member is selling something that everybody needs, and I want you to pay close attention here. So if you need money, right, for your business, for personal loans, for a line of credit, if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to make investments, you're going to make margin on your money. If you need money in one form or another, right now what I want you to do is write the word money in the comments, because that's what we're going to talk about today. And how do I know to get with you if you don't write money in the comments? So write down money so that I know that that's what you're interested in. And today I've got our sponsor from MDM, Pat Manning, all the way from New York. Came down here to Texas, the Big D from New York. So, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Appreciate you having me here. You hit the nail on the head. Exactly right. If anybody out there is in need of capital for your business, if you're an operational business doing $5,000 per month or more in monthly gross sales, whether it's a piece of equipment that you need for your business, a revolving line of credit, straight working capital, if you need to factor an invoice or a purchase order, whatever it may be for your business, we are definitely the money man. We can help you out. We have a staff of 80 back at the headquarters, over 1,000 reviews, 5 stars online. So anything in regards to financing for your business, even if you're a startup and you're looking to get new equipment to get that new restaurant off the ground or new construction business, we can absolutely help out. Process is super simple. 2 to 3 minute application, same day decision, same day funding, anywhere from $5,000 to $5 million, and we have terms that go out to 5 years.
You can get money the same day. So if somebody's got a business plan, an existing business, and they've got their stuff together, and let's say they need to buy a piece of equipment, they need to be able to buy more supplies or whatever that's for, they can apply, get approved, and get funding the same day.
That's exactly right. The beautiful thing about our business is they call it the Fintech Industry.
Okay.
So it's basically taken that old school inundated process at the bank and have implemented technology into that process to where we are directly connected with over 75 different lenders. Once you send us your information, we API that information directly over to the bank, which gives us the decision whether approval or decline within 30 minutes. But again, when we're working with over 75...
you also get to pick the best program.
That's exactly right.
Because you're going to be able to look at their stuff and say, this is good, this is best. Oh, well, you may not qualify. This looks good, but you may not qualify for this because of this kind of business. 100%. And you place them through the right system as well. That's 90% of your job is the knowledge to know what's going to land them in the money the fastest. So.
Exactly, and that's a great point that you point out there. And something that we've always talked about. That's truly the service that we provide, right? There's a lot of people out there that can technically get you capital for your business, but is it the right money? Is it the right product?
You
is it
cash
the most?
A check at Ace. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right. So one of the biggest things that we do is we do an in-house initial review of your business, and then we pair you with the best lender that's fit for your particular industry or what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Really, just to ensure that we're getting you that best offer. And that's what really drives the reputation that we have. Is we've been historically able to put the best offer on the table for our borrowers.
For me, it was a big moment when I had somebody in the bank that I could get a hold of, somebody that I could borrow money from, that I had a relationship with, not just filling out an online application. So it's cool for the folks watching to be able to put a face with you, and then obviously see your profile when you come back and leave comments and stuff. Because a lot of people we borrow money. Like, I don't know who my mortgage company is. Right. I write TIAA a check every month. Not a check. I have a draft gone out. I'm so old school. I have a draft gone out every month to them. But I don't have somebody at TIAA I can call. And even at Bank of America, when I was with them, I didn't. I have millions of dollars in the bank account, zero contact there to be able to call, and if I needed a line of credit or something to be able to grow my business, I didn't have that. In this case, they've got you. You're the guy. You're the middleman for the bank. So you have all the knowledge, so you can, it's technically you're not speaking on behalf of the bank, but you could almost speak on behalf of the bank because you know the programs and how it works and what to expect for them, so you can set that expectation for them that they never get from a bank.
Yeah, absolutely. We utilize these banks so often that many times we're teaching them more about their own product than they know about themselves, right?
And they're always hiring and firing people.
It's exactly
anyway,
right. So. But we've been using utilizing these banks for a long time, so we know their guidelines inside and out, which is why we're able to know, hey, this business is going to fit best with that bank. But you you really hit on an important piece is that relationship aspect, right? Transparency is super important, in finance, but especially when, a lot of this alternative lending is happening over the phone or online. You're not really having the luxury to walk into our office. So the fact that myself, my entire staff, we're on our website, we're on LinkedIn, we're approachable, we're at every industry event, we're always constantly networking. And it's a big piece of the relationships that we build in finance is based on the fact that we're real people, we're empathetic, we take a consultative approach on the phone, and really have a lot of different programs and lenders to really service, any client that comes through the door. That's what it's all about.
I think probably the biggest question anybody would have for you is if they don't necessarily need the money, but they can foresee things are starting to slow down, because some areas are going through recession, stuff like that. We're not here to judge, I'm just saying. But they can foresee businesses starting to slow down. Is it a good idea to start getting a line of credit or start getting ahead of that? Because if you're smart with money, you can borrow your way out of a situation. Things may be recession for a while. There's an election coming around the corner. They're going to have to spin it back up to get somebody reelected or to get somebody new elected. So we know the economy is going to turn around at some point, but what, 6 months, 12 months from now? So would you tell somebody to get some sort of financing setup that might be able to bridge them through that 6 or 12 months, or tell them to tough it out, or how?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the beautiful part about a revolving line of credit is if you are...
That would be what you pointed them to.
Exactly.
Could you
right.
explain what that is?
Yeah, so a true revolving line of credit is basically opening up access to capital for your business, but not necessarily having to utilize all those funds
as
now.
needed.
You can use it as you need. You are only paying interest on the funds that you're actually utilizing. So if you have a $200,000 line of credit, but you're just utilizing $10,000, you're only paying interest and having a payment on that $10,000 that you're utilizing. And as you pay that money back, it becomes readily available again to the business owner. So yeah, having that line of credit established for that rainy day, or knowing that, you may need it in the near future, is definitely a great idea. But we've also seen with a lot of the recent bank shutdowns and issues that have been going on in banking that, some business owners have had a relationship with their local traditional lender, Wells Fargo, Chase, and those banks have come in and actually froze their credit lines. So establishing, alternative relationships, not being, all your eggs in one basket with your local community bank, and having relationships with other bankers like my team or the lenders that we utilize, so that when you do run into a situation where you're trying to obtain capital, you have, other options that are out there, and you're not stuck into a corner. And then, we all know what happens when you're put in a corner.
So I think that's as a person that's deep into finance, I think that's the best advice too. Is I've always set up revolving lines of credit through credit cards, right? So I always have credit cards that I never use. I bet I have conservatively 50 credit cards, right?
Yep.
But I don't use them. I pay the fee and all that stuff once a year that comes through, the $10 or $100 fee or whatever it is. But I always think for a rainy day, just in case ever, now that I've got all these credit cards, I got $500,000 in lines of credit that I've got access to get myself through whatever jam I may be in. I've never been in a jam, never had to use them, but I like to be prepared. They always say, better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener at war.
Yeah, that's exactly
better
right.
To be prepared. So.
100%. And it also shows good, borrower responsibility, right? The fact that you have access to the credit, you're not always utilizing it. When you do need to go establish another trade line, that's going to work in your benefit because, you've been able to show control.
And so what kind of, just in general, what kind of guidelines, I know you slightly touched on it, but for someone to get some money, what kind of guidelines they really have to, like credit, income? Can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah.
General idea?
Yep, absolutely. When it comes to an operational business that is, actually generating revenue currently in the business, for our programs, there is no credit minimum. So that's something that right away is super unique about us.
But you can't be a deadbeat, right? Like,
you can't,
you
don't want to be a total
be like
deadbeat.
If a cable bill from a long time pops up, but you paid since then, and that's bringing you down.
Absolutely.
Or lack of credit type of shit.
And the real reason it's designed like that is because, our lenders understand that a lot of small business owners sacrifice their personal credit to get their business off the ground. So, there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of businesses out there that are actually super healthy and generating consistent revenue, growing, great opportunities, but the borrower, the business owner himself, maybe has a little bit of a poor credit history. So the traditional bank is saying no to that business. Yeah. Meanwhile, this business is growing, been in their community for 20 years. It's a staple. They have a ton of employees. So, we tend to look at these businesses a little bit differently, right? We're more of an opportunity-based underwriting, where if we can see that the business is generating revenue, there's real opportunity where, hey, if I I take these funds, I can go buy this inventory, I could add this seating to my restaurant, I could add 2 more trucks to my fleet, and our underwriters can understand how this money is going to benefit your business. That's the way that we're reviewing. So, just to...
It makes sense underwriting.
Exactly. We want to hear the story. We want to really talk to you, dig deep, and figure out how we can partner up. And, we always said, like, what's really good about our products is, unlike selling equity in your company to raise money, we're here when you need us and gone when you don't, right? We're not going to be so judgy on your personal credit. We're not going to collect so many bank statements from you. We're going to keep the process simple. If the business is generating revenue, we'll put the loan out there, set up a favorable term, get paid back, and we're out of your hair. But just to recap on those requirements, for an operational business, it's again, $60,000 annual is the minimum, right? So if you're producing $5,000 a month is the minimum. Our core client is doing closer to $1 million a year in sales, so about $80,000 a month or so. But we do.
You would have to be just barely scrimping buying business at $60,000.
Exactly.
That's a way low. That's like almost welfare business in reality.
Exactly. But I do want to put it out there that is the bare minimum requirement. But yeah, we do loans $5,000 to $5 million, no minimum FICO. All we want to see is that you've been in business for at least 6 months. So operational in business for 6 months, generating at least $60,000 a year or on pace for $60,000 a year. If you hit on those parameters, 6 months time in business, over $60,000 annual in sales, we're approving 90% of those applicants just with those 2 minimum qualifications.
So what website do they go to?
My website is rok.biz, www.rok.biz. And anybody on this video that's interested in obtaining capital, you can just add a /Apex, so rok.biz/Apex. And anyone that applies on that link would obviously come in through the Apex community and will, be given white glove service. We'll make sure that you get on the phone with our top consultants. There's going to be certain things that we're looking to do for Apex members that are coming through looking for financing, to really help out and to give back to the community here.
And that goes for you sales pros too. Just put Apex in there so that they know you just came from this group. So you should be in Apex if you aren't. I'm just saying I'm in it. Pat, you're in it.
Oh, I'm in it.
I'm just saying you should be in it too. But if you're not, then it still doesn't prohibit you from getting this. They'll take care of you. Just use that backlink. By the way, man, it's like a
look at that. I just saw that.
Did I sell you that one?
No, you didn't. But you should have.
All right. I've sold a lot of them, so I wasn't sure. But good choice today.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
So one more time, give them the website.
www.rok.biz. That's ROK.biz/Apex, APEX. If you go to that URL, we can get you on the phone with one of our consultants, learning about what's going on in your business, and ultimately giving you some insight on what options are available to you.
And I'll say this to finish the video here. You're running a business on a margin, so it's real smart that it's for those of you that are running startups that are going to borrow money and stuff like that. Figure out what your margins are so that you know whatever interest rate you get from the lender, and then you know what you got to make on that so that you factor that in there. Plus, there's ways as you get good at managing debt that interest and things like that are tax deductible if done right. If you get with the guys, somebody like Easy or Accounting or something like that, they'll get with you and help you there. But just remember that, like when you borrow money, make sure that you know your margins so that because a lot of people, they don't borrow money because they don't know their margins and they don't realize that you might get a 15% interest rate and they think, oh, that's high, but you're making 30%, and this gives you more buying capacity, therefore gives you more selling capacity, so you're scaling it, and they get so stuck by the interest rate that they miss the amount that they can actually make a margin on, which is bigger than what they've got now. So be thinking about those things as well. So I appreciate you taking the time, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you helping the people. I know there's lots of folks out there that could be going through some stuff that needs some money, and so I'm glad that we got a connection in the family and the network that can take care of them. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
So hit my man up. I endorse him. He's not just the sponsor of MDM. He's also an Apex executive, so I know him. We've talked a lot extensively. We look into those people, and they've got a big business. This isn't just some guy working out of his New York apartment or something like that. They've got a huge operation with tons of banks and amazing. He mentioned it. Maybe some of you don't know what it means, but he mentioned Fintech, which is short for financial technology, which is the backbone of the future of banking. I mean, crypto's considered fintech as well. And that is the future of banking, is having the technology merge, because it's all going to be digital at some point anyway. So they've got a business on the forefront of that. And the cool thing about fintech companies, by the way, is if you study anything on them, is they're some of the most lenient underwriting things out there because they can predict based on algorithms and stuff like that versus in the actuaries and crap that you have to deal with your traditional underwriters and lenders. So appreciate you again, Big
Yes,
Dog.
absolutely. Thank you.
Later, y'all.